Welcome back to Access Channel Comics. I'm your host, Corey Banks, coming at you again. And just wanted to catch back up with you and everything. Just wanting to let everybody know, as you know, some of you may not know, on Netflix, season 2 of The Get Down is now streaming. I did catch up on that show last season, and I really enjoyed it. And this season is picked back up with a bang. For some of you may not know, it's a show based back in the late 70s, heading toward the early 80s. Show you some of the origination of hip hop and show you how things were. It's a show that will remind you a lot of maybe about your childhood, a lot of old heads like myself. I'm in my late 30s, so I definitely remember eras like that. Around that time, I was actually probably about almost 1 year old. I don't remember exactly like that, but I remember the early 80s, of course, and remember the early days of hip hop and everything. But it's a pretty good show. Check it out. It's on Netflix, streaming live. Nice group of cast of actors in it, So just make sure to check it out. I believe you may find it very interesting. Once again, it's The Get Down, streaming on season 2. But now let's get right into what we're going to go over today, and that is DC righting the ship in the cinematic universe. A lot of things have been going on in DC Comics in the past couple of weeks, and it's been a lot of good, interesting things. DC, of course, has come off of 2016, which was a big financial money-making year for them, but it was also a rough year for them, mainly with cinematics. The comic book sold very well. Rebirth was a huge, massive hit, one of the best things that ever come out of DC Comics. Also, video game sales doing very well, with the Batman video games and everything, and they're promoting the Injustice and everything. Big talks, Young Justice is going to be returning coming up in 2018. A lot of things there in their sales, even animations. Even though Batman the Killing Joke probably didn't turn out exactly the way people wanted to be, it still did pretty well. And Justice League Dark is amazing. Justice League Dark really it's one of the best DC animated adaptations done in a very long time. But we want to focus now and get to where the struggles were, and that's the live action movies. The live action movies of DC Comics. Let's just break it down into sorts. Last year, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Suicide Squad came out. Both of them made a ton of money, cash cows. However, a lot of people were mixed and divided on it. You had a lot of tampering going on with the films, studios, putting their input, and it was just a lot of stuff. Studios do got a right to put input on, but they also must let people do their job. But it's been a lot of good things going on because for a while announcements being made by Warner Brothers, but they didn't have specific dates for these movies to come out. But they've slowed it down. They're righting the ship. They're getting good artists in there. For example, news broke last week. Joss Whedon is confirmed he's going to be directing a Batgirl movie. Now, when I first heard of this, I said Batgirl. Now, Batgirl is one of my personal favorites. She's iconic. Am I saying she's more popular than Batman? No, I'm not saying that. Am I saying she's more popular than Superman? I'm not saying that. But her popularity is right up there. You got iconic characters that everybody know. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, of course. Everybody know who Catwoman is. Everybody know who Supergirl is. Batgirl is another one that everyone knows. And from my understanding, he's going to be doing something from the DC52, which she has amazing backstories in DC52. And Joss Whedon, when I heard this news, I was very pleased with hearing this because Joss Whedon is phenomenal with his work. He did a great job on his television productions such as Firefly. He did a really good job on Serenity. Of course, everybody knows with his movies, Marvel's The Avengers. Became the highest grossing comic book film of all time. Also, he did Avengers Age of Ultron, and not that one out the ballpark also. People kind of mixed on that a little bit, but still it was highly successful. He did other adaptations such as Dollhouse. Dollhouse didn't have that big run, but still was decent. And of course, everybody know he did Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So that got me really thinking. And like I heard some other people, Joss Whedon is the right choice for this job because Joss Whedon does a great job of writing female characters. He made Buffy very more interesting than ever. If you take a look at a lot of his other work and the productions he did, look what he did with Black Widow and the Avengers and the Avengers Age of Ultron and what he did with the Scarlet Witch. Fantastic work. So I definitely am happy to hear him getting in on the Batgirl job and coming over to the DC side of things. He was over at Marvel, and it was a shocker for a lot of people because didn't have the best of relationship with Marvel at the end. He said the only way he'll go back and do any work if it's a Black Widow solo movie. Don't think it's going to be happening anytime soon, but he's now over at DC, and they got me to thinking, will this just be a one-time thing? I think it will not. I think he would do some more DC films. So he may possibly do a Batgirl sequel, depending on how they do. He may do some other characters, also with individual and groups. I think his flavor would be very fitting for it. And I was thinking, I think Warner Brothers is going to let him really have his creative drive, because I don't think he would have gotten to a situation where he doesn't really have a lot to say so. I mean, imagine if Joss Whedon graduates and goes up to directing Justice League Part 2. That would be amazing. I would just totally love it. And this is some phenomenal stuff. From my understanding, Matthew Vaughn may be taking over in the Superman solo movies. That is another great choice. Matthew Vaughn has done a fantastic job with his work. Really enjoyed what he did with X-Men First Class, one of my favorite comic book movies. He did a terrific job, with Kingsman and everything. He really has that twist, that style and everything. And so he was speaking a while back the idea that him and Mark Millar had for Superman. And that's doing a more of the lighter tone of Christopher Reeve, that I can understand. But the story, similar to what Marvel had with Ant-Man, what Edgar Wright was doing, it's a real good story. They used some of that story, but it really wouldn't fit in the context of the shared universe. The story that Matthew Vaughn and Mark Millar was thinking about for Superman was, from beginning to end, Superman would have been on the planet. It showed his origin, sort of, and he would have just, after a while, everybody would have died and move on. It's kind of like a Logan thing, but the only difference is, as phenomenal as Logan is, that's a different context. Superman and this, that wouldn't fit in the shared universe. So that's something that you gotta keep that in mind. But if Matthew Vaughn takes over Superman, I am very pleased with that. As far as a director like Zack Snyder may be directing his final DC movie. He may serve as producing duties or executive producer, but his final DC movie is being Justice League. As far as Zack Snyder, I think Zack Snyder is a good director, but not really good storyteller. And it is time for someone to take over. That's what I wish someone would do with Transformers with Michael Bay. You've had your run. It's time to step aside and let someone else take over. But I really like the fact that the news I'm hearing with DC wanting the right to ship. Because they're even in the talks of, as you know, for a while we've been hearing of possibly getting Mel Gibson direct Suicide Squad 2. That is amazing news and everything. I'm very happy. I don't want to be biased. A lot of you know that I'm a huge DC Comics fan, and I'm proud of that. I'm a huge Marvel fan also, but I'm a bigger DC fan. And I really want things to really pick up, for him and everything. The really last DC movies they had that really where the fans and critics agreed among the masses was the Dark Knight trilogy. And the Dark Knight trilogy, of course, is amazing, but now we want to get some of that fresh new take. Man of Steel was another good quality film. Some people were mixed, but Man of Steel is, to me, a masterpiece, and it did very well at the box office. So they're heading in the right direction. Wonder Woman is up next, a little less than 2 months. They're definitely pumping her there already. I think Wonder Woman will be fine. I just hope there's no rush scenes in Wonder Woman. Take the time to tell the story. This could be a beautiful period piece film on par with Captain America: The First Avenger, or dare I say, could possibly even be better. Justice League is in November. It's going to be very interesting. Keep in mind, David Ayer also is going to be directing Gotham Sirens, the story with Catwoman, Harley Quinn, and Poison Ivy. Now think about it. Batgirl could wind up being introduced to that world also. A Nightwing movie is also in development. So there's so many great things that's going on. I like the way Warner Brothers slowed it down. They got another plan, and they're going to really do this. And that's what we were saying all along. Take your time. But what do you guys think? Put your comments at the bottom about what you think about where Warner Brothers has the DC Extended Universe headed. Do you think these are the right moves? Do you think these are better moves? Me personally, I think they're better moves because it's like they're taking their time. So just want to know what your feedback is on that. Also, click the subscribe button, help people find this channel and help keep this channel going. Follow me on Twitter at thebanks26. Also, you can go to Facebook and find Access Channel Comics page, and also the alternate Access Channel Comics Unlimited page, where we is an open social page. So feel free to join. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. This is Corey Banks once again in Access Channel Comics. And just remember, there are many, there are few, but there are none like you. And be good to yourself and be good to others. And this is Corey Banks signing off. Until next time. Peace out.